What's happening, everybody? Doug Lane here, Fast Lane Car Care. We've got this Tacoma. I don't remember what year it is. Doesn't really matter. It's this body style. Not a whole lot's changed over the years as far as what we're going to do. We are going to do a full windshield on this Tacoma. We're doing 35%. I wanted to show you guys how you get rid of these inspection stickers. So this is a Pennsylvania inspected, or it was a Pennsylvania truck, so it's got the Pennsylvania inspection stickers on it. What I've already done, I've already heated this up with a heat gun, still warm. I mean, you can't feel it, so it doesn't matter, but it's still a little bit warm. I heated it up and peeled it off with my long razor blade, just kind of slowly, and that got most of it off, but you can see I've still got some glue left behind and all that. I already sprayed it with spray away glass cleaner and let that sit for a minute or two, and then tried to, do that. Generally, on an adhesive like this, spray away is not going to work. Spray away does work pretty well at removing some adhesives, but this stuff's heavy duty. So, we'll just go from 0 to 100. We got our ATR adhesive remover, one of my favorites. I've also got my soak rope tucked down in there, and then I've also got my towel behind it. Now obviously I can't tint the windshield with this towel tucked in there because it's touching the glass, but what I want to do is I want to absorb as much of this, and then I want to do as much cleaning and prepping as possible with this towel here, just to help soak up any moisture. Tacomas I don't really think give really too much issue as far as water getting in the dash and stuff go. Some people sink these bad boys in rivers and stuff, and they just keep going. So, but just in case, ATR says that it removes, or melts adhesive instantly. I find that's not 100% true. I find that if you just let it sit on there for 30 seconds to a minute, hopefully you guys can see that. Maybe we can just give her one more spritz here, and I'll get you guys a different angle. Freaking Zep bottles. Let's see. I'll take you off here. Here we go. I don't know if you guys can tell, but ATR is no joke. I'm really not putting any pressure on this because I don't want to scratch it. I'm really more or less just using the scraper blade as a squeegee and just pushing it off. I mean, you can see it's just all down in there. So now what we'll do, I'm not going to bore you with all this, is you don't want to let this stuff dry on anything. So what we're going to do next, bear with me here while I try to put you on my head. Don't mind my Crocs. I like using shop towels for this part because once you get adhesive and stuff in your normal towels, they're just pretty much junk. But shop towels you're gonna throw away, so it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna try to get as much of that as we can, of course. And I like to try to push everything down. If we're gonna go down, you know what I mean? If we go sideways, or if we pull stuff up, we can get some of this sticker goo in our film, and that's not good. Just give her a quick little spritz of that. Now what I'm gonna do, take my little shop towel here, put it around my reach tool, like so. And this isn't always necessary, but it just, you want to get as much of that goo down and out of your workspace as possible. And like you can see, like you don't want that stuff in and up in your new tint. We got a little bit up here, so a couple different things we can do. I like to just hit it with glass cleaner. The glass cleaner just kind of helps it keep from sticking momentarily. And like I said, we could take this towel here, just kind of go down that way, just kind of push any of this. This is on the outside, so that's good. Boom, boom. Just kind kind of do one of those deals. Now I don't want to use this towel anymore because I don't want to take a chance of any adhesive bits that might be on this getting stuck somewhere else and ended up in my tint job. So just throw it right there, half on the clean towels, half on the dirty towels. That works out fantastic. It's pretty much just rinse and repeat. Before my final, pass or whatever you want to call it, what I will end up doing is using my bulldozer and just straight pushing everything down. You can kind of see down in there, we got all this glue. So before we get too carried away, it's just pretty much just a back and forth kind of deal. Clean up this, clean up that. I want to get stuff off the dash. One, just so the vehicle's a little bit cleaner. You can see all that goo on there. I want this to be clean for the customer, but I also don't want to risk of this getting stuck in the new tint if for some reason I bump it. So that's pretty much that step. I'm not going to bore you with it. I'll bring you back later, probably when we install it. I mean, it's just cutting, shrinking. It's really no different than any other vehicle we ever do, other than we got to cut around a GoPro mount. We got the T20 Torx to remove that. We got our wire taped up out of the way. I mean, just another day in the office, honestly. These trucks are not really super difficult to do. Probably the most difficult part, if you're new to tinting, new to shrinking, is going to be your side right here. You really don't have much border, but I mean, it's definitely doable. So we'll get back to it, and I'll bring you guys back once I'm done cleaning up all this glue. Alright guys, let's be quick and efficient about this. Almost got started without you. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I was gonna film that part. So, obviously I got it shrank, I got it cut, I got the inside of the glass prepped. I used Squeaky Bunky hydrophobic coating remover. You can get it at sundistributingdirect.com on a blue scrubby to clean the inside of the glass. I like it. It gets rid of hydrophobic coatings. This truck didn't really have any, but it also does a really good job at cleaning. For like example, if you have somebody that smokes or vapes or whatever, it gets a lot of that residue and stuff off there. Just to me, it does a really great job cleaning. The only caveat, if you will, to using it is you definitely want to make sure that you get the residue off. So like once you wipe it down with a towel or terry cloth or whatever you want to use, make sure that you spray it down again and squeegee it, just to help make sure you get any of that residue off. I'm gonna reverse roll this bad boy. This is my least favorite part, trying to reverse roll it onto the glass. It almost never goes my way, but it's looking like it might this time. I don't know. Looks like we're gonna have to do a little bit of shifting. And this is where I get into problems. This release liner right here, gets like wrapped up in there. And you wanna get that completely out of the way. Because what it can do is it can like flip around there, basically touch your adhesive, and then anything that's sitting on your release liner just got into your tint job. Or if you roll it and it touches the glass, you can get contamination that way as well. So yesterday this slip solution was a bit on the slippery side, so we'll see what it ends up being today. I got it a couple degrees warmer in here, so it should tack up a little faster. I was worried about that little GoPro mount. I didn't double check to see how much space I had on it, and we want to make sure it's getting tucked in behind this pillar. So, let's see if we can't, just go ahead. I'll say I probably just lost our knife. Gotta be careful if you trim on this ceramic, because you can scratch the ceramic and then you'll see a light gap there. So you just barely want to, do anything with that. Okay, and I think I'm gonna try just to go a smidge that way, which I don't think it's gonna work. So, I mean, we're good. I just wanted to take a little bit of material this way so that maybe it'll tuck down in there. That side will tuck in there a little easier, but if we have to, we can just trim it. Again, I got my soak rope in here. I got my big old sun distributing dash towel. I believe it's a Soak Shield brand rope. That's obviously got, rebranded for them. Gotta be real careful pushing this, because if you hit a dry spot with your film touches itself, it's gonna crease and then it's gonna be garbage. You'll never get rid of that, especially as we get close to this edge. You can see right here we're touching on this trim panel. Grab a couple different tools just in case. Okay, so it should just go right down in there. So the way that's hitting right there, I can tell we're hitting some silicone. I just want to kind of get it laid in there. Maybe if I could find my Olfa knife, what we'll do, we'll just stick our blade up in there. I'm just gonna see if we can't follow the border and just trim this up a little bit. You gotta be kind of careful. If that film pulls too far away, you'll end up cutting it too short. So we can just try to fish that out if we want. So this right here is my mistake. I should have double checked how much room I had on this side before I did my final cut, but it shouldn't be the end of the world. It would be a much bigger problem if we just try to jam it in there. But since we just took a little time, cut it back a little bit, we're still covered. Still all good in that respect. So, just kind of gently work it down because it's starting to tack. We want to just make sure that it stays wet so that it doesn't crease. Boom. Golden. Now, I'm not going to worry about this side. Let's start working on this side. Same deal. Just going to kind of go slow. Kind of split it in half there. You don't want to hear it crinkle. I don't know why. It's not that much warmer in here. It literally is about 2, maybe 3 degrees warmer. And yesterday, doing roll-ups, it was so slippery. This solution was so slippery that I had to mount my top edge and then come back with the the propane torch and heat up the glass to get it to stick well enough that I could safely roll up my windows to do the bottom. Obviously 2-stage. So I never would have figured that it would be this far off, but here we are. And you could see, hopefully you could see, how we got some, like, it wants to go this way. It's telling us which way it wants to go, which way it wants to be pushed. So we're basically just kind of working into the corner, so to speak. It looks like maybe a couple little fingers right there, but nothing really serious. So now we can kind of hard pass this. Use quite a bit of pressure. I like to really push on these dot matrix. And then if we do end up with a little finger, up in the top or even on the bottom, we can heat those up with the heat gun on the inside a little bit. We can handle them a couple different ways, but the biggest thing is make sure we can get this with no, bubbles, no big bubbles, anything like that. We got a little bit to shrink right here, so we can keep messing with that and back ourselves into a corner, or we can just leave it be for a minute. Now, anytime I do a full windshield, I like to go around the edges with the heat gun anyway, because what can happen is, especially this time of year where it's warm in here but kind of cool outside, let's say we just go ahead and throw this outside, the temperature change can make fingers pop up or whatever, and that's not good because if we get busy, sidetracked, whatever, just forget about it, or the customer shows up earlier than we expect, then, it could look like crap. So, I want to just make sure, get all that. I did notice this truck's got some little baby rock chips in it, little impact marks and stuff. Pretty typical of a vehicle that's got a couple years on it. So, what this is going to do is shrink stuff up, like right here. Now, when I cut this out on the outside, I could have very easily just went around it and shrank it, but sometimes you get a little bit too much heat and it'll try to crease this way because, you know, the film's going this way. Our factory edge is here and here, so we can only shrink it up and down. So if we try to shrink it sideways, it's gonna crease on us. So I find just wait until you get it on the inside. Most of the time, you just add a little bit of heat. You can see it doesn't take much. And we're doing two things. We're pushing the moisture out, but we're also heating up the glue and everything. So we're shrinking and tacking up the glue. So then when we push it down, boom. Now we got some little fingers up here across the top on this dot matrix. So, like I said, we're just going around the perimeter here. We're doing two things. We're pushing out any moisture, and then the heat and the air is drying that out so it can't get sucked back into the film. And so that way it's not going to cause us problems later on today, which this truck is probably not going to get picked up until the late hours of the evening, so it'd probably be just fine anyway. But it's good habit to be in. Like I said, in Ohio, you know, it's cold half the year, so or cool, I should say. You know, summer's only a couple months long, realistically. When you have good hot weather that makes window tint stick super fast. So I don't know if you can see, we got a little bit it's trying to pull off the matrix there, and a little bit trying to pull off the matrix here. We can do two things. If we try to put too much heat on it, it's going to try to shrink this way and it's going to ruin it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kiss it with high heat, just kind of blow the moisture out. I don't know if you could see, but it's kind of moving, but it's not trying to shrink. We're just getting that moisture out of there, primarily. Now we're going to heat up the outside of the glass. Now, if I was a betting man, I would say this windshield's been replaced, but because this side, this trim panel is just not matched up very well in comparison to that one, and generally from the factory, they're just usually a little bit closer than what this one seems to be. But like I said, we got this little spot right here, so we'll just push it with the reflex. And then we got a little bit of moisture right down in there. No big deal. The glass really isn't even warm other than right up here. So if we wanted to, like, this is just regular dot matrix, you know, moisture stuck in the dot matrix. You know, typical stuff you're gonna run into no matter what. So I'm not super worried about that. I do want to just kind of give it a once over and just double check everything. Let's see. And that's on the outside, perfect. Just kind of do one of these. That looks like everything's laying down nice down here on the bottom. So really got just a little bit of moisture right there where it's kind of difficult to get to. We can either use the reach, which I might just use the reach real quick. Just kind of push it down and out. But, I mean, it's kind of one of those things that's really minuscule. Probably nobody's ever going to see it once it dries. Yep, that's all it was. Just a little bit of moisture in the matrix, no big deal. And then all we got left to do is obviously clean this soap residue off, clean up our mess on the inside. And she's all finished, so I'm not gonna bore you with cleaning glass. I'll get that done. I'll show you guys the finished product. All right, guys, we're back here with the finished product. I went ahead and cleaned this glass here just because Just something nice to do for the customer. Got some stuck on bug guts there and couple little rock chips and stuff. But overall, windshield turned out good. We didn't tint this stuff. It's just to match the, I'm guessing it's factory tint with 20 on the front, but we just did the windshield. That's all we get paid to do. But it looks good, man. I think the truck looks pretty sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it outside, let it bake in the sun for a while. And thanks guys for watching. I'll see you on the next video.